Garden, Aveline House 1912. This series, this experience over the next 2 months, I've called an Imaginarium. And it's because it really, it has music, it has a full paper collection, and it has a story. Well, and some more surprises. In this video here, we're going to just create a Lapbook. This is what I'm going to do for my, to contain my project. And everything that you see here, these are freebies in the first week's freebie section, and that would be in my coffee shop. You'll need the password, which I will give a little bit later in this video. It also includes the covers for these two, although I'm not showing you how to make them in this video. I will be showing you how to do those in another video, but the first week's freebie does include the covers for field notes or for a sketchbook, and there'll be enough freebies along the way that maybe you're not going to join us for the whole entire event of buying the collection and creating a huge journal, but you could follow us along and make a field note journal or a sketchbook. Okay, I'll see you shortly. Hope you join me. Okay, let's get started. This particular cover has 7 pieces to it. So I'll just show you that the odd pieces are the panels and the even pieces are the spines, okay? And they won't all fit, let's see, on camera here. So I'll put the sizes in the description box below. They're all 9 inches high, and then my panels here are 6 inches. My 2 outer panels here are 2 inches, and the center spine is 4 1/4. Okay, I've used chipboard. I bought a package of chipboard that has like 20 pieces of chipboard in it for like $16 on Amazon. And I'm to tell you, I love it. It's going to take me all year to use it. And since I live alone, I just don't eat enough food or have enough kind of things that have hard packaging. And so it was really handy for me. I also don't have a lot of storage, so I don't store things. So that's why I opted for the chipboard. It's optional, but I'll put where things go based on the panel starting from left to right. Okay, so I've also printed up this week's freebies. So this week's freebies, there'll be freebies every week from Lady Rose. And this week's freebies have the background paper I'm going to use. It has everything for the cover. So it has the spine, has one of the spines, has another one of the spines. It has a spine template for the larger one. Let's see. Also, it's got cover I chose at the back and one of the panels, and then there's some ephemera bits that I haven't shown you here, so it'll be a surprise when you see it. Okay, to get started, I'm going to take these, the pieces that are this is the map piece, and I'm just going to make sure that it's kind of centered. I'll do the same thing here, make sure it's where I want. Yeah, okay. Just kind of give it an outline here. I'm going to put the paper on each one. So the two covers, and then I'm going to cover my other cover with just a blank piece of paper. That's the first step. I'm using Fabri-Tac. So based on where I kind of folded, I know where I can place my glue here. You'll want something like a bone folder so that you can press out the glue. I also like to have something that helps me to spread it out, so I'm just going to do that so that it doesn't clump. And I'm going to place this here and see where I'm at before I really press it down. Make sure that it's in a good place. Okay. And now I'm just going to pull these over. Go ahead and add glue here on the flap. And really well in the seam. Going to do the same thing with the other two, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is share with you some of the music that comes along with the experience this month. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the cover and the front and the back, and I'm just going to let you see me, but I'm going to speed it up. Okay, let's cover the spines now. I'm going to start with the thickest one. I want to make sure I leave a little bit of a lap gap on either side here. So we're going to probably do that like that. I'm just cutting a little bit of this excess over here. We'll add it, we'll cut pieces for these too. Probably just by, let's put this in half. Going to trim the bottom of this just a little bit. So you'll notice on the spines, the rule is that they extend out past the spine itself. So see how it has these lips here? We're not going to glue those down. We're gonna just, let's actually just put it on the chipboard. Now, before I do much else, I'll get the, I'm going to just pause it, excuse me, speed it up so that I can finish these in front of you. All right, I'm going to pause the camera now again, and what I'm going to do is spend a little bit of time inking my edges. Okay, so the next step here is to work with the bottom of your images and your covers, I guess your papers and your covers, in a way that helps to resolve any kind of bulk or wrinkles as best as you can. And what I like to do here, to be a little bit careful when you do it, but you can do it ahead of time, but I don't necessarily always love to. What I'm going to do is just gently cut a little flap here, and then also I'm going to cut out this piece. And it's not necessary if you are pretty good at getting things to be flat. It just helps me with how I end up getting things to kind of lay flat. So you can see what I'm doing here. It's important not to get all the way to the corner. You do have to work with the corner fairly well with your phone folder and your glue. But if you do that far, so on the larger covers, not on the spine, but the covers, you're going to do that same thing here. So you're just going to add your glue. Again, not on your spines, but just your covers. Okay. I'll do this one and then I'll do the other ones off camera. Okay, so you're just gonna and before it dries, you'll just want to make sure that you press in and seal it as best as you can. Work with the corners. And see, I don't know if you can see here, there's just a little bit that's raised there. I'm going to add a little bit more glue there. And really press it into itself so that it seals up. Okay, so I'm going to do that with the other covers off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have these covered, my covers, and I'm going to work on the spines. What you're going to want to do here is we're going to leave this part open. So when I cut and place this down, I am going to just, I'm not going to go all the way close here. I'm just going to you don't want to come down too far, but just enough. And then we're going to glue the tops. So that they'll look like this. Okay, and we'll set those aside. So I'll glue this one and cut this one off camera. Okay, so I have my spine now, those prepared, and I've cut out the spines that I created for this journal. And I'm just folding the one with the field notes and the Lady Rose's sketchbook together, because before I glue these down now, I'm going to ink the edges really well so that it helps them to blend and kind of look like a cohesive part of things. I want to make sure that each spine fits well on the area that it's designated for. It's a lot easier to kind of fix that now. So this is just a tiny little bit too long, so I'm just gonna shift that so that I can glue these, or excuse me, so I can ink these edges too. Yeah. Okay. Inking the edges just kind of camouflages the white where it might look like there's like any parts that are not an actual book. So this one I'm going to glue down. And you'll want to make sure that as you place this down, that everything's the orientation that you want. Like my paper is a little bit directional, and so are my spines, but that might not always be the case for you. So I'll do this one too. This is the main spine. And again, it's just a tiny little bit too tall, just ever so slightly. So I'm gonna trim it here. A lot easier to trim it here than it is once it's on the spine. Plus, if I trim, again, I can ink too, so. And I glue this one down. Make sure it's pressed all the way in, especially on the edges where it could start to peel up. Okay. And this one is just a little bit long also. So I'm going to ink and glue this one down and I'll be back. Okay, so let's put this together now. I'm going to start with the center spine and make sure that it's upright. And just like a book goes, so on this side here goes the main front cover part. So I'm going to align these. Lots of glue. slide those together as best you can. And press that down. And you want to come onto this side and make sure that everything's even the way you like. And then we're going to move to this side, which will be the back cover, just as if it was a book. So there's this, and there's this. Before it gets too bulky, I'm going to just again go through my edges here and ink them up really well. Any of the parts here that might need some extra love. I'm also going to look at the edges of where I've put my spine top on and make sure that there's nowhere that that's coming up. Okay, so let's work on this side here, which I've chosen to be the English Garden Almanac, and add this here just by adding glue. That down there. And you'll just work each edge the same way, which is to come and look and check, make sure that it's even. Add any more ink you might want. So I'm also going to do this on this side, which I have chosen to be the map of Aveline House. So I just wanted, as I'm doing this, I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about Louise Heinzel. And I want to talk to you about her because she had a really interesting live the other day, and I don't know if you've seen her video, but she addressed some of the concerns that people had in the community about her, you know, no longer being kind of part of things that there was a lot of nasty comments and stuff on her. I don't know if they're nasty, but they were comments that really hurt her heart as a creator about some of the choices she's made, and saying that she just doesn't, accusing her of not, you know, being part of the community anymore because she's like more successful or above that, and someone complaining that they were on Social Security, so they couldn't participate in her stuff anymore. And I really want to say how much that hurt my heart to watch her struggle with that. I've had this very same experience of people, especially sometimes they don't leave the comments on the video. They message me in private about demanding things, demanding the freebies, and demanding stuff that I'm offering, and accusing me of making it inaccessible for others. And I want to kind of want to point something out, because it was hard for me to see her. I've been an artist my whole life, struggling to support myself. I'm also disabled, and I've lost every job I've ever had because of my disability. I will admit, it's been since 2010 since I tried to actually work outside of my home. And that's because after so many tries of doing that and failing, I kind of surrendered to a life that really I've lived on not a lot of money. And if you're not an artist, like by heart, in the sense that it's something that you wanted to, that drives you. And I'm going to guess that if you're here, you maybe haven't discovered that you're an artist yet, because if you're making books or junk journal books or any kind of books, my guess is that you have an artist heart and just haven't quite recognized it yet. And you'll note that some of the nervousness about sharing within the Facebook group, or sharing even comments, writing comments, sharing who you are full-heartedly with others, can be so triggering. And especially because this logarithm is, it's not something we control, and it's getting also worse, by the way. I'll just mention that. It is getting to the point where there are so many things that you have to do in order to get a video up. And really, it really is a lot of work. And the part of it that we most often don't talk about, and this is part of why I want to mention it, is the courage it takes to put yourself out there. And maybe not everybody likes what you've done or what you're doing, but it's such an act of vulnerability. Okay, so you can see these are together. That my hope is that you'll be kind. Please be kind to the other creators on YouTube that create endlessly for us for free. I've learned so much from Louise Heindesel. I've learned so much from the other junk journal people that have been around for, quite a while. I can't express enough gratitude for the videos and the free content that I've personally received from them. So my hope is, I'm just making a suggestion at being kind. And then also note that, I provide a lot of free content also. And it's a gift. And it's because I would want to be able to participate even if I couldn't afford to buy the whole kit. So a lot of what I do is geared in that direction. But please, if you're able to support me, the financial part of it makes everything possible. I live alone, and I do rely on this for a very sparse income. And that is also meant, so it's like donating is not necessary, but it can be so helpful. Okay, so here we go. This is how this will kind of come together or sit on the shelf, right? Just like that. So that is the outline part of our spine. That's really all I wanted to say about that. Is just a reminder to please be kind, and be kind to the other creators, especially when you're watching their channel. If there's something you don't like, take it up with the creator, but also be kind and remember that it's free content. So anyways, I'm off my, don't need to say more. Let's decorate up this page here. Okay, I'm going to show you what my idea with these little drawer things. I've gone ahead and I cut out a backing paper. I'm going to ink the edges. actually, so that it blends into the... And I want to mention the paper that I'm using, I'll put down in the description box below. It's actually... So my signatures are printed on this Epson Premium Presentation Paper Matte. That's all of the pages portion. A lot of the ephemera I printed is, if it was something like a tag that should have some strength to it, it was printed on this Epson paper. If it was any of the covers or envelopes or something where there's going to be a lot of folding, it was printed on, this is the Koala Thin presentation paper. I'll put, like I said, the information in the description box. It's something that's fairly new to me, but I really love the finish, and it gives the same pop of color, and the paper's strong. I just don't like the weight for supporting pockets and things like that on my signature pages. The signature pages seem to need a little bit more weight for what I put on them. So that's the paper that I'm using, and that's what this is too. This is fairly thin, but it's very strong, and it's part of what helps to make these bonds here when they're complete work well. So I'm going to arrange these. I wanted them to kind of be like pockets and to have it be like a apothecary kind of thing. These, oops. I think probably like that. But what I wanted is I want to be able to not just only go this depth, but I want to be able to go all the way down in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this with a little... I'm just going to start with the center part, and I'm just very lightly drawing the line there, because then what I'm going to do is cut it open. Okay, so you can see I've left enough on either side for strength. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this just above where that little cut is, and I'm going to glue it down. I'm actually going to glue the whole pocket down. I'm going to leave just a tiny little lip here. Really excited about what Carol and I have going on this month. So excited. So grateful to be partnered up with her. Pretty amazing. I met her in a collaboration with Rach and Bella Crafts, and I was partnered up with her. Kind of a miracle. It's really nice to become friends with someone who doesn't live in my country but does what I do, has a totally different perspective, and oh my gosh, she is really talented. She's been around for a long time, and it's been such a helpful perspective for me. So let's see. Oh. I'm going to add these pockets down on the bottom here. These ones I'm just going to treat as regular pockets. I'm using art glitter glue. Yeah, Carol's going to be doing a prompt, 30 prompts over the course of 2 months on The Secret Garden. And her idea isn't exactly the same as mine, but I've done freebies for her journey, and I'm going to be having a journey of my own over on my channel that's going to involve more of the journaling part and the story part. There'll be a story, and that will start on June 1st, tomorrow. So hopefully between the two of us, you'll find something that sparks your interest, and know that you can do, and you can participate in as little or as much of what we have going on as you like. I know that June can be a super busy month for creators because of the different collaborations that are happening. So we're going to extend it June and July, and that way if you want to catch up in July with us, you're welcome to. Okay, so notice I haven't glued this down yet, right? So this is my pocket page, and I've got this one open. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, probably, I think, right about there. But what I wanted to show is probably like that. This way I can tuck some deeper things into the pocket if I want to. And it doesn't necessarily mean I will, but I didn't want it to only be this high because I didn't want to cover up the wood. I really love the way the wood looks. So I'm going to do this one just the same way as I did the other one, which is to just create a line. And to get it started, I just, So in the comment box below, tell me what kind of spine you're making for your journal if you're joining us. Carol's shown a couple. You could make this Lapbook style. I have a couple of the Midori closures on my site too, and you could make one of those. That's a Midori closure is like here for my Egyptian journal, so that I can pull the signatures or the pages out as I work on them. I might have done that with this kit, but I was so attached to how the outside of the book looked that it seemed to determine the other choices that I made along the way. So tell me what kind of signature or what kind of, binding you're going to do if you're joining us, and let me know if you're going to be with us on Coffee or if you're going to be with us on Facebook. The story will be probably on Coffee, and so it's a lot of work for me to post things in every single place. I kind of want to centralize them a little bit, and the story, which will be kind of like audio, and there'll be freebies each week. Oh, I got that so uneven. So not happy. Ever do that, guys? Yeah. I'm removing these. Let's see. I can't be too picky. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, but I'm saying there's going to be plenty over the next 2 months, and you can catch up on the story anytime, but it's going to be kind of from an audio format, and then I'll also put the written words for you. But please note that those are that part of the journey, the story, because it's totally optional. I'm experimenting with a new format, so you can give me free feedback if you like. If I had my heart's desire, I would do it this way from now on, which is to do a story and to do music and do every single part of the adventure, create the whole world if I'm doing what I want. And of course, it's not always all about what I want. But if you like it, please let me know. And one way you can do that is just by supporting me on Coffee with a donation or something like that. Because this next 2 months, if I'm not creating digitally, my income's really gonna drop. And I'm hoping that the other content will be appealing. And if it's not, you know what? Please be honest, because a lot of people just want to do what they want to do. And I don't need a ton of you to be interested. But if there was just enough, then I might be able to offer that too, the story and the music and stuff. So we'll try it for June and see what happens. Okay. So I can see where this might be a source of contention for me. So I'm going to let it go, because otherwise my crafting vibe will shift. So that's me letting go of perfectionism. Okay, and I'm just going to I'm going to glue this down, but I'm going to seal it on all the sides here. So think this video has been pretty long, so I'm not going to cover my signatures because there are surprise elements in the signatures, and I'm not wanting to share some of the story just yet. I do want to mention that in this first week's freebies, there are some Ex Libra pages, and those are optional, but I thought they'd be fun to include in the inside of the sketchbook. I'm going to do a sketchbook, I'm going to do the almanac, and I'm going to do the field study guide. So I've included something like that for each one of those. I'm just cutting those out now. But I wanted to be able to show you that now we should be able to, you know, tuck a few things in those pockets there. I think these are too wide for that. And then I've included a calendar for June and July, and those are actually 1912 calendars, so don't pay attention to those as being accurate for the actual 2026. So let's just see. I'm pretty sure these are too thick. Yeah, it's too thick, but you can see how that will look. There's two covers. There's a cover for the sketchbook that I hadn't released before, and a cover for the field study guide. Those are both in the first week. If you're looking for those, the first week of freebies. The link to that will be in the description box below. And for now, I'm not going to actually show you the inside, but the way that you would finish this, and I will do that probably in the next video or two, is by the freebie also includes a spine template. So let me just say, this is the spine template. For the center, if you're doing it like me, it has places here for you to mark on your where you place things. I have the template for the 2-inch spines also, but what I'm going to do is basically adhere this to a little bit lighter weight cardboard, and then create the same type of flap situation on either side here, the way that you would normally place in a signature, or excuse me, your signatures in a hidden spine like that. I think I've shown that quite a few times on my channel already, so I'm not sure if I need to do that, but I will go through that process when I get to the point of the signatures. I wanted to get this far with you and show you where I've come, but I also need to get on getting some of Lady Rose's stuff out for tomorrow. But that's this far here. Again, let me know what you're doing in the comment box below, and if you haven't grabbed the welcome gift, there's a link to the video that has the information on the welcome gift, and that is in, if you look in my coffee site, there's a content bar that has all the different categories in the shop, and you'll want to click on the 1912 Aveline House. It's like 3 or 4 in from the left, and that'll have the items for this journey over the next 2 months. Okay, thank you so much. I'm Rose, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.